Morning, everyone. Respected Dr. Mashalkar, Dr. Kirloskar, Mr. Mahapatra, and all the friends who are gathered here today. First, like to congratulate you on this wonderful invention or innovation, as well as the great presentation that you made. I think you're probably going to impact far more lives than we have been able to impact, and make India a far better place for the future. My heartfelt gratitude to the Pune International Center for inviting me here today to address this distinguished gathering. I'd like to thank Dr. Mashalkar and Prashant for the warm introduction. Dr. Mashalkar, I really don't know why you invited me here today, save the fact that a few years ago when we were standing over there, you just hugged me and you said, I love this guy. So, so it's indeed a privilege to celebrate the inspiring work of social innovation and honor all the individuals who have been instrumental and who will be instrumental in shaping a better future for all of us. You know, you mentioned you're not from IIT. And in all the work that I've done, and my apologies to Dr. Ranade, who's from IIT. In fact, I'm also from an IIT, but I wasn't smart enough to go to the Indian IITs. I graduated from Illinois Institute of Technology, which over there was also called the Indian Institute of Technology for some reason. But we work with a lot of organizations, especially Nuclear Power Corporation, and we find most people are not from there. And they're the ones, I think, even in ISRO, there are very few people from IIT. And it's institutions like NIT and others who are also doing great work, taking our country forward. Prashant thankfully reminded me that that I am now in Maratha Chamber. But I'm a transient, as I like to say. He is the Director General, so I have to listen to whatever he does. And when I got this schedule for today, I realized that I have to speak for 30 minutes. And as it is, I cannot speak for more than 15 minutes in my own company. As a mechanical engineer, I try to be as direct as possible, but he gave me a long, I don't know whether I have to stick to the script, but I'll try the least to stick to the script and talk to you about what we've been able to do. Not so much social impact, because I'm a mechanical engineer. Social innovation is probably as far as possible from what I do. But what I have seen that there are countries, especially in Northern Europe, who are actually the happiest countries, who have very advanced social systems. And this is probably what sets them apart from the rest of the world, that the personal freedoms that they have, the peace, happiness related issues, everyone I think wants to go there and settle down, I think, especially with Mr. Trump coming back to America and our issues with Canada. I think that will be a place, but really a prosperous society in our times signifies not only thriving economies, but great social growth. Prosperous societies bring new approaches to solving social issues, because complex problems require radical solutions. Social innovation brings with it a mentality that actually abandons the narrow-minded view of social enterprises and for-profit businesses as mutually exclusive areas. Social innovation adds a new dimension to innovation by sustaining economic and social growth. So with that, let me talk a little more about what I've been doing. I thought this would be a great idea to speak about what Kirloskar Brothers has been doing, not just from my time, but also from the time my great-grandfather set it up. It has impacted society in many different ways. It's not just a manufacturer of pumps, but they've had to look at different social challenges across the years that we've been in business. Like you said, since 1888, when we were first set up in Belgaum, and then moved to Kirloskar, thanks to the Raja of Aund. Dr. Kirloskar's family and my family were neighbors, I guess, at that time in Aund. But this was a Raja who was who's forgotten now, but was a great social reformer. Loved to talk about, loved to teach others Surya Namaskar, patronized the arts in many ways, and was the first, I think, kingdom. Aund was the first kingdom in India that adopted a constitution. It was, I think, approved by Mahatma Gandhi as well. In fact, he went to Wardha to get it approved, and then had free and fair elections in his state. But my great-grandfather was asked to leave Belgaum because his foundry was polluting residential area. Even in those days, there was something called pollution. And this Raja of Aund invited him to set up this industry for ensuring that his subjects could gain employment. Now, this is very different from most Rajas. And in 1920, when the business became a company, he was one of the founders of the company, and he ensured that there would be no taxes for 35 years. You know, governments today talk about tax-free status for 5 years, 7 years, 9 years. The company never paid taxes to the Kingdom of Aund. I mean, I'm sure it benefited the Kingdom of Aund by providing employment to thousands of people, but India became independent before we were due to pay our taxes. And I'm sure that in 1948, we paid taxes like everyone else. But my great-grandfather was a very different individual in the sense that he wanted to be a painter. His father was a practitioner of a Vedanta practitioner, I guess. And this gentleman wanted to be more of a painter, an artist. And on the second day, found out that he was colorblind in JJ School of Art. So that's how I'm standing here before you today, because he went to VJTI and became a learned mechanical drawing, became a drawing instructor, was passed over for a promotion in favor of an Anglo-Indian, and decided to chuck his job and started this business. But he was he was very, I mean, like I said, he was very different. When he came from Belgaum to Kirloskar, it was one family. 32 families became one family. There was no casteism, which in a rural area was very difficult. In fact, he sat down as a Brahmin, I guess, and conducted the marriage of two, what we would call backward class people today, because no Brahmin priest would want to do that. He wanted both boys and girls to get educated and set up a school for that. He allowed women to take part in dramas. And the worst or the best of all was a convicted murderer was asked to guard his colony, right? Together with his nephew Shankarrao Kirloskar, he published 3 progressive magazines. I think the older people would remember them, Kirloskar Stree and Manohar. And maybe I'm conceited, but I think that's why places in Maharashtra are very different, where women can freely move around, because they believed in rational thought, education of the girl child, and widow remarriage. In those days, I think it was not allowed or looked down upon, but they promoted that. So, you know, this is in a rural area. It's not in a city. And one thing that I've tried to do, I was lucky to meet Professor Jeffrey Sachs in 2007, when there was, I think we celebrated 50 years of India in New York, or 60 years of India in New York. And one thing that hit me was, he said that if you want to reduce urban poverty, you have to ensure that there is no rural poverty. So every factory that we've set up is in rural India. And it's a little awkward for me when people in Bombay and Delhi ask for corporate social responsibility funds. And especially if they're from Pune, I say, go to my two brothers, they have factories in Pune. Because my factories, there's no one else, and I have to ensure that we do work in areas that we are able to make an impact. And that actually helps because, we've never had any labor issues. They depend on us, we depend on them. And you might wonder what happens in a rural factory, but I can assure you that we are at the top with people from rural India. Right? So in 1986, before I joined, we had made India's first solar pump. We had, we talk about the Kusum projects today, but solar pumps were first made in our Devas factory. The UK's strategic north-south water pipeline. There's more water in the north, less water, more people in the south. They use only pumps made by our subsidiary, designed together with KBL, because they are lowest life cycle cost pumps. We worked with sustainability for a very long time. Also very happy that the first firefighting pump for very tall buildings, single pump, unlike others who have 4 or 5, which has FMUL approval, was designed and manufactured in Kirloskar. Europe has come out with new efficiency norms. It's not a European company that's met them first. It's this company in rural India that's met it first. We also set up an all-women factory that was mentioned a little earlier. I have told all my male colleagues, beware. We are not needed. They make one pump every 17 seconds in that plant. It's got the Limca book of world records. So, there's many things that can be done. I realize one does not need to be in a place like this. We can contribute in a very big way by being in rural India, ensuring that people don't need to move to urban areas, and see that this nation can also develop very good technologies with people who may not be from IITs, but are from every other college that is available to us. So I'd like to, I realize that we are going beyond time. So I think what I'd like to end by saying that a glowing example of commitment, this is great commitment to social innovation, is the Anjani Mashelkar Foundation. I think established in memory of Dr. Mashelkar's mother. It's dedicated to the upliftment of the community and making a very meaningful impact. And I think over the last, all those award winners that we saw on the screen, each one of them is making a huge impact. And I think, like you said, your mother is in this room. I'm sure she's looking at the family with great pride to see what the money that she had saved is being put to great use. So by funding and mentoring social innovators, you've created pathways for them to achieve their goals and make tangible improvements in the lives of underserved communities. So this prize is very special because it recognizes individuals such as yourself who embody the spirit of social innovation in India. And it's really a reminder that the extraordinary impact that can come from individuals because of their vision, their compassion, and their commitment to creating a change. I think her legacy of courage and resilience lives on through this award. So I'm sure that you, like the others, will also be a role model who has dedicated your talent, resources, and your passion to uplifting lives, and especially the lives in so many villages of India, because that's where anemia is most common. I also understand it's very common in Punjab, of all the places. your work will definitely inspire many others to contribute to the collective mission of building a brighter and a more just world. We have to foster partnerships and embrace new ideas that once might have seemed impossible. So I'm sure that by supporting innovation, we are not just changing systems, we are transcending boundaries, enriching lives, and building hope for future generations. So I'd like to quote the Ashoka founder, Mr. William Drayton, who said, "Every one of us is a change maker." I'd like to say that in this journey of social change, each one of us has a role to play. Let us leave here today knowing that the challenges that we face are actually opportunities for each one of us to create meaningful and lasting change. So I'd like to thank Dr. Mashelkar, Dr. Kirloskar, and the Pune International Center for inviting me to be part of this. In my own way, I've tried to say that this is the kind of work that our company has been doing. And though we are an engineering company, we hope that the work that we do also has a social impact on the rest of India. Thank you so much for calling me here today and listening patiently.